For thousands of years, human civilizations have searched for patterns in uncertainty, moments when the future feels suspended, when decisions must be made without complete information. Empires, generals, merchants, and travelers all faced the same question: how do you act when you cannot know what comes next? In ancient Greece, one place became the symbolic center of this dilemma, a sanctuary carved into the slopes of Mount Parnassus, the Temple of Delphi. There, people believed the gods spoke through a priestess known as the Pythia. Her words were mysterious, symbolic, often ambiguous, yet kings traveled across the Mediterranean to hear them. Why? Because in a world without statistics, without databases, without algorithms, Delphi appeared to offer something humanity has always desired: a glimpse of the possible future. But historians today see Delphi differently, not only as a spiritual center, but also as one of the most sophisticated information hubs of the ancient world. Pilgrims arrived from every direction, from Sparta, from Athens, from Persia, from distant colonies across the sea. And each visitor brought something with them: stories, political rumors, economic changes, military movements, news of harvests, droughts, alliances. All of this information passed through the sanctuary. Priests listened, servants observed, messengers reported. Over time, Delphi accumulated something extraordinary for the ancient world: a vast mental archive of human events. When a ruler asked the oracle a question, the response may not have come from divine revelation, but from patterns formed by thousands of conversations, patterns built from decades of observation, in a way that feels surprisingly familiar today. Delphi did not calculate probabilities using numbers, but it worked with something very similar: accumulated experience. If one city had risen too quickly before, war often followed. If harvests failed in one region, trade tensions appeared elsewhere. If a ruler ignored alliances, their power rarely lasted. The priests of Delphi had seen these cycles before, and when a question arrived, they interpreted the present through the memory of the past. This is, in essence, the earliest form of predictive reasoning. And perhaps this raises a quiet question. If you were responsible for advising an entire civilization, would you trust intuition alone? Or would you search for patterns hidden in the past? Today, the architecture looks very different. Instead of temples carved in stone, we build data centers. Instead of messengers and travelers, we collect digital signals. Financial transactions, social media behavior, climate patterns, satellite observations. The scale has changed dramatically, but the intention is strangely familiar. We are still trying to detect patterns before events unfold. Artificial intelligence systems now analyze enormous datasets, searching for signals humans cannot easily see, forecasting economic instability, estimating the spread of diseases, predicting consumer behavior, not as prophecy, but as probability. And yet, something subtle remains unchanged. Predictions do not exist in isolation. They influence the people who hear them. When a king heard the oracle warn of war, he might prepare his army, and the preparation itself could create the conflict. When financial models predict a market collapse, investors react, and their reaction can trigger the very instability predicted. This is sometimes called a self-fulfilling prophecy, but perhaps it is something deeper, a feedback loop between information and human belief. The priests of Delphi interpreted symbols. Today, analysts interpret data. The tools have changed, the scale has expanded, but the underlying question remains remarkably ancient. How do humans act when the future is uncertain? And how much of that future is shaped by the way we interpret the signals we see?